So speaking of deals, what does a transaction look like here? Like, what's the process?
For sales?
Yeah, let's say sales, because leases are pretty easy, right? You just
Yeah.
yeah.
So for sale, what we usually do, client makes an offer. An offer is presented to the homeowner. Once the offer is accepted, then an introduction is done between the lawyers, usually on email, where you introduce, this is the buyer, this is the seller, this is the buyer's lawyer, this is the seller's lawyer. Then a buyer's lawyer is given the documentation, relevant documentation is shared, like the title deed. So he has to go do due diligence on the title deed. Once the title deed comes back and it is legit, there are no issues with the property, then a sales agreement is drafted. So once a sales agreement is drafted and both parties sign, usually that is where a deposit is paid. Usually it's 10%, but
Okay.
some people, I mean, depending on what the buyer and the seller agree, it can be higher.
Who does the deposit go to?
It goes to an escrow account.
Oh, okay, it does.
Yes, most of the time. But sometimes it can go to the
Yikes.
seller's account.
Because
Yeah.
so we have regulated bank accounts for escrow.
Oh.
So like they're highly regulated. Do you have a similar, like do attorneys have escrow accounts that are, or is it just like in his account?
In his account.
Oh,
sometimes.
okay.
Yeah, we've had, that
You
cases
can have
where
issues.
those issues have been had.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's not as protected.
They are some that are, it's not as protected, but now again, importance of working with reputable firms, the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, so if you're working with a particular law firm, just be sure that these people are people who, because you've had, there are instances where lawyers have spent the money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, but so if you're buying, though, you can't dictate to the seller what.
But it's not the buyer's issue. No, that becomes an issue between the seller and the seller's lawyer. Because if I've paid.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, if I've paid, that's not my problem.
I was thinking because, we have a bunch of ways for buyers to get their escrow money back if the transaction doesn't
Yeah,
complete.
sometimes they get the money back. Sometimes, depending on what was agreed on the sales agreement,
They want to
might
get it
forfeit.
back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after the sales agreement and the due diligence is done, then what?
So now the lawyers take over. So the transfer of ownership from like the deed, the things to do with capital gains tax, things like that. So they do all behind the scenes. Exactly.
How long does all this take?
Usually takes 90 days.
Oh, that's not too bad.
It's not too bad, but
Does
everything flows.
and this might be a lawyer question, but how does the deed change hands? Does the lawyer just write a new deed and then they record it at the? I don't know how.
No, I think now
that might be a lawyer question.
Yeah, it has to go through Abdissalam, things like that,
Online,
through lands,
Okay.
Change. It has to show that ownership has changed from this person to this person. So it's a bit of a process.
Okay, but 90 days normally.
Normally it's 90 days.
From the beginning of purchasing, like from the
signing
offer?
of the sales agreement.
From the sales agreement.
Yes.
So then add 2 more weeks because you had
Yes.
2 weeks due diligence
Yes.
before that. Okay.
Yes.
104 days, if the math is right. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a straightforward
Wow.
deal.
And that's
nothing
with
in
no
between.
problems.
Yes.
What type of problems happen? Like what's common?
You can find issues with conversion sometimes because now there's a lot of digitization that is happening with title deeds. So sometimes you find the homeowner didn't think to do the conversion. So now that also comes in, has to take time. Sometimes the file is not found. There's a lot of things can happen within that process.
Okay.
Or sometimes, someone can just back out and unforeseeable emergency comes up.
Are people buying property as is, or do you do an inspection? When do you do that? Is that part of the 14-day due diligence? What if or should I do that before I even get involved with the property and inspect it myself? How does that stuff work?
It
Like,
depends. So for cash buyers, they can buy as is because the bank is not really, they don't have to send anyone from the bank to come and see the house and do evaluation and things like that. Sometimes people, I mean, if the house is worn down, someone is like, I want to buy this and I want to build it up into something I want. So they'll take it as is.
right.
But some people now, if you're paying through like the bank and things like that, the bank has to come and see someone. They have to come see the house. They have to even do their own valuation. And then now, once you get the go-ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if you find out something's leaking, or like, in the transaction, there's some kind of
So
problem?
usually that is usually stated that by the time you're transferring this property or you're selling this property, you've assured this buyer that the house is in a certain condition. But sometimes sellers do disclose. They usually say the house has leakages and this and this and this. I didn't see the point of fixing it because we're selling it. So
What if they didn't know, though, the buyer, and it wasn't disclosed? Like, is there any protection for the buyer for discovering issues?
That it should be in the agreement that should something not be found correct, then some sort of recompense has to be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.